Hello. I wanted to share some thoughts today around the relationship between the soul and the physical body. There are some different words that I could use to interchange, but I think those words work fine. So, my motivation for sharing these thoughts today, well, there are several layers to what has brought me here. One is that this concept seems to be a theme of my incarnation, and so my contemplation has led me to really confront and address and focus upon these themes. And then, perhaps consequently, I've been seeing this theme reflected back to me from my environment so that I can really look at it. And so what I mean by that is, for example, I saw a post come across my news feed the other day, and it said, "I am not a body with a soul. I am a soul with a body." This is one of several kind of environmental indicators that have been reflecting this theme back to me. So I wanted to express some thoughts around it for your contemplation. By the way, I think I've said this before, but I'm going to say it again. Don't believe anything I say. I appreciate if my contemplations are of service and of value to you, but you are the discerner. So please be free to contemplate my ideas within the context of your perception and your experience. And please feel free to come to the realization that yours is a different cosmology. You have a different worldview. You disagree. That's okay. I've come to understand that we all come to explore different ideas and themes for a lifetime. And perhaps it may become true that those who resonate with the themes that I have to share will be drawn to this sharing. I think that's probably true. But perhaps it will provoke something in you. And getting your feathers ruffled can be good because it helps you to kind of feel confident in and validated in the worldview or the cosmology that you've come to. So, that being said, within the context of, I want to express some ideas around the relationship between soul and body through the experience that I've had. So I'm using my life experience as a context. So earlier in life, I was, as a young adult, into college, I was very physically focused. I generally found school and intellectual stuff very easy. The challenges that I faced were in relationships with my peers and physical stuff, like playing sports. While I had physical capacity to play sports and do things, I had a lot of anxiety around it. Worried that I wouldn't perform well, and I kind of avoided team sports altogether. But I did want to look good. I remember going into a studio class at architecture school, and somehow the topic of working out and physical expression came up in conversation. And I remember sharing, well, I definitely want to look good naked. I was just being truthful and honest. So it was a path for me. I felt like it was something, there was something physically about me that needed to be developed, that was inadequate, that I needed to work on, my muscularity and my masculinity. And I could go on for days and days about the themes there. But so mind stuff was easy. Physical stuff was something I was conscious that I was working on. Physical body, expressing in the world. Intimacy and relationships was a challenge. And all of this is, of course, interconnected. And I hadn't really begun to address and confront spirituality in a very specific way. Like, I'm really going to turn inward and really focus on my spiritual nature. So I got to the point where I was doing really well in the gym and physically, like, I was getting some validation from my environment. Oh, so that was starting to feel good. And then I started having my sort of awakening, cracking open spiritual awakening experiences. And as a part of that process, my consciousness sort of became I don't want to say disassociated, but that's maybe an appropriate word. I was like up in the air, in the ether, in the cosmos, like surfing and exploring, and not really as grounded and physically focused in my body as I had been before that. And I actually want to broaden the idea of the body and the physicality beyond just what you perceive your physical body to be. So I want to include the environment that you have manifested for yourself, the space around you, your expression in the world, like how you physically manifest in 3D physical reality. Like, that's all kind of part of physical manifestation of a life experience. So I remember I had sort of been facing some financial challenges, and there was a period of time where I was sort of disassociated from that, and I wasn't really wanting to look at it or confront it just yet. It's like, okay, I know there's going to be a time where I'm going to address some of those things. And I remember one thing that was really silly that I did. I have a mortgage on my home, and my homeowner's insurance is paid by the mortgage company. But I remember I was so disassociated from that whole process that I woke up one day with a panic that I hadn't been paying my homeowner's policy, and it must have been canceled. And so I was like scrambling to figure out a way to get a new policy. And then, of course, finally I came to the realization, now, wait a minute, this is not something I've ever had to address. It's handled through the mortgage company. I'm using this as an illustration to show you, like, as a part of that journey that I was going through, I wasn't grounded. I wasn't taking care of business. I wasn't really identified with the physical stuff. Another more body-related example is, this is fairly recent. I've realized that I have always sort of taken my glutes and my hamstrings for granted, and they're starting to go. Like, I really have to rebuild and work on my butt and my hamstrings, my thighs, in a way that I used to not really have to think much about. So that's a real physical thing. I turned around one day and realized if you don't use it, you lose it. So I'm working on that. So there was, putting this back in the context of my experience, there was a period of time where I was very physically focused. The mental stuff has always been easy. The spiritual stuff kind of cracked me open, and I kind of got lost in it for a while. Now I'm in a period of realization and integration of all of this. So here's the idea to contemplate. Going back to the quote I shared, I am not a body with a soul. I am a soul with a body. So what I'm going to say is there has been a stage on my spiritual journey. There's been a stage on my journey where I resonated with that view. It was the moment in my journey where I began to identify as the spiritual self at the sort of denial or exclusion of my physical self and my physical reality and my physically manifested world. So it was a part of my experience. I think I've said words like that and meant them. But now I'm in a different space. Where I currently am is I've come to understand that I am the totality of all of that. So I am a soul. I am a human. I am physically manifested. I'm having this experience. I am all of that. If I want to take this to a more specific place and ground it even further, how about this idea? The soul is the creative agency that manifests the physical life experience and the physical body for the purpose of its experience and its expression. And it is actually never separate from the physicality that you are. Here's another layer for contemplation. Your soul is manifest in different octaves of dimensional experience and expression, different layers of body, from the physical to the emotional, to the mental, to the etheric, to the causal, to the atmic, to the buddhic. These are all words that are related to cosmologies that I've looked at. But your soul is manifested through bodies at all these different layers and octaves. It includes all of them. And consider the idea that we have this perception of time, past, present, and future, as physically manifested beings here in this single life experience. But how about the idea that your soul is actually manifested across different experiences simultaneously, different bodies? So what's the takeaway from this? I've come to realize that in my experience, it is possible that everything is spiritual, including your physicality, your sensuality. The purpose of this manifestation is for your spirit or your soul to have the experience of being in form in a body in this way, in this very specific and unique way. And it called your body and your life experience and the themes of your life experience into manifestation for its purpose of evolution and growth and experience and learning. It will never deny your physicality, your human nature. It's experiencing itself through all of it. So my suggestion is this sort of holistic view. Bring the totality of all that you are bring your spirit into the present moment in your physical body right here and right now. Whatever you're doing, wherever you are, be fully there. If you are in denial of your body, you are not fully there. If you are in denial of your spirit, you are not fully there. If you are present as the totality of all of that, then you're fully there. The unity of form and spirit in embodiment. One more thing. As I said, don't listen to a word. Don't believe a word I've said until you discern for yourself. And that's the same for everyone else who offers you a cosmology. Many people are well-meaning and they want to offer you a cosmology. You can entertain all the cosmologies. I've entertained lots of cosmologies. But you are the creative being, and you're the one to discern your cosmology. I hope, like I said, I hope this has been of value to you. I think I may be moving into a space where I'm excited to share again some more. I've had a kind of hiatus from this, so I would like to express that if there's anything that you would like to ask me or suggest a theme for conversation or contemplation, that I am open and receptive to that. I may or may not actually answer, but if you post the question and it feels like something that I have some thoughts or ideas about in response, then I will. So thank you. I hope this finds you doing very well, and I'll talk to you next time.